DNA tests like 23andMe say they'll get you closer to your family.
But that's a freaking lie.
These things destroy families.
Oh, you think that's your dad? No, that's just some who thought he was your dad until 23andMe took a fat dump all over his life.
Right now, we're gonna prove DNA tests are family destroyers and tell you the 4 craziest DNA test reveals
That get increasingly more destructive.
Let's do it. DNA test exposed my dad's affair. Now I met the affair baby.
I wonder what that first meeting is like, and I hope we find out.
Before I jump into conclusions and freak out, I need some help. Things don't look all that great for my family, and I'm beginning to get anxious about the results. I am 32, and as far as I know, I only have one sister, and she is 30. I got my results back and looked through my DNA relatives for the heck of it. I wasn't expecting to find any really close relatives other than my first cousin who took the test, but I did. I feel like that's something you have to expect when you take these tests.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of them is to find out things that you don't know and things that you didn't want to know.
You have to be ready. You have to.
You gotta be emotionally prepared when you take one of these tests, dude.
Yes.
You're playing with your life.
The very first relative listed was a woman who I'll call A. A shared 55.8% DNA with me and is predicted to be my full sister.
Whoa.
Which is very odd. Usually, all the time we'll see half sisters, right?
Yeah.
The dad runs off, the mom runs off, and then there's a half sibling.
Full sister. I'm confused.
It's a very, very. I don't know if we've ever had that on this show. Possibly.
No. It's always half sisters because there's like cheating on one side.
Yes.
Fuck.
There's only one way to find out.
Let's go. Let's keep going.
She can't be my full sibling, however, because her profile states she's only 18 and searching for medical history due to the fact that she was adopted.
Okay, so she's thinking can't be my full sister because of how young she is.
Yes, like the
timelines,
everything
doesn't make sense.
But the one thing with DNA tests, like,
they don't lie.
The science is there.
Science don't lie.
Oh. She states that she has asthma and other minor health issues and wants to know the extent of hereditary family health problems she could expect later in life.
I didn't even realize that was a reason people get them.
It makes sense. Like, if you're adopted, you
don't know. It's a black box.
You're going in
blind. They lock that shit.
I'd know if my parents had a baby when I was 14 and gave her up for adoption, obviously, which to me, I mean, it's granted, it's a very weird scenario. I don't know if that seems very possible.
I mean, if there is secrets, if there are secrets within your family, you're not going to know. They're not going to want to tell you the secrets because the secrets are usually bad, dark, and nasty.
Exactly. Like it's a weird thing to happen, but it's absolutely something parents could hide from a child.
For sure. You do not know everything about your parents. Let me tell you.
My mother is 54 and my father is 55. That would put them at 36 and 37 at the time she was born, which is when my sister was born. So my parents are around that age as well.
Oh, wow.
So
it can happen.
It can happen. I'm trying to figure out what on earth this relation to this girl could be. She's completely open sharing. We share a complete X chromosome because it's all the way across and overlaps in 2 large areas. So most of our X is completely identical. We also have the majority of DNA relatives in common, but share different percentages. My known first cousin who took the test shares 14.1% with me, but only 6.83% with my apparent sister. That seems like a stretch that my first cousin could also be her first cousin since I share more than double what she does with my first cousin.
So these are like a lot of confusing percentages right here, which just means like this family tree there's missing information we need to solve this puzzle.
All that OP knows now is OP has realized that they don't really understand almost anything of what they thought.
Know anything.
That's basically where we're at right now. Can someone help me? Please.
Science side of Reddit needs to come out here and help us.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
We need the nerds of the internet to rise.
Yeah. Don't you like share like 40% of DNA with like a banana?
That's what I thought.
Riley, is it true? Riley's
confirmed it. That means it's 100% a fact, by the way.
99% with chimps. And also 40% with lettuce.
So OP's sister could be lettuce.
Could be
a banana.
Could be lettuce.
We could, maybe the most effective way to find the truth is to go to the produce section.
No. Is this my sister?
Tomato? Larry the cucumber? What are you doing here? Are you my brother?
As you can tell, we don't know anything about biology. So science side of Reddit needs to save us.
Please. And there are a few comments. Are you sure there's no way your mother could have hidden a pregnancy? That really seems like the most likely scenario. OP, I'm sure my mother wasn't in the hospital or anything on the day that girl says she was born. Another comment, did someone get pregnant when you were 13 to 14? Alternatively, could you have been adopted? OP, I'm a female, so no, and I don't think I was adopted. But Sam, we do have an update.
Oh boy, I'm ready to hear the truth.
Buckle in. A new match came in this morning. I don't know this person, but I recognize a surname. They have listed one on my father's side. She's predicted to be my second cousin and shares 3.37% with me and 5.14% with A, my predicted full sister.
Okay.
Does this help at all, or is this another dead end as far as figuring out who A is? I'd like to have as much info as possible before I ask my parents about this.
Okay, science side of Reddit, you have enough percentages. Let us know.
Please step in. There's one more comment. The evidence overwhelmingly suggests you share 15% of DNA with both her parents. That either means she's a full sibling to you or intermingling in your family is involved.
Intermingling as in like Sweet Home Alabama intermingling?
Like Sweet Home Alabama intermingling, Sam.
I'm hoping it's not that.
I'm praying it's not that. Update number 2, disappointment. That one simple word is how I feel, but it's still an understatement. I'm sitting in my car right now trying to get myself together. I don't think I've ever been as pissed off and hurt as I am right now. I found out how A is related to me. Back when my mom was 16 and my dad was 17, they had a daughter they put up for adoption.
Okay.
They explained to me that they didn't have the resources to provide for a child at the time, and they had even considered doing the same with me, even though they were married when they conceived me.
Wait, but that means the daughter would be like much older, not 18, right?
Much older.
Okay.
Much older.
Wait, I'm confused still.
They were poor, as I previously mentioned in a comment reply. At this point, I was still really confused. She'd be 38 now, not 18 like A stated.
Put I see you in the comments if you see where this is going.
This is the kicker and why my parents are now divorcing.
Oh, fuck. I think I know.
When my older sister, who was put up for adoption, turned 18, she came looking for my parents and found them. They had a good relationship with each other, and then one day she randomly disappeared and cut all contact when she was 20.
Fuck.
They had no idea why, or just my mom had no idea.
Oh, no.
It's not good. Not good. I told my parents about a match I had on 23andMe after showing them my ancestry and then the relatives, specifically A. And my dad looked as if he had just seen a ghost.
His secret is coming out into the sun.
That's correct.
And the mom doesn't know about this secret.
It doesn't seem like it.
Holy moly.
He didn't talk for a minute, but then he told me the truth, and I almost wish he hadn't.
Oh, fuck.
He admitted he screwed it up by sleeping with his own daughter.
I was hoping this
Wasn't the
wouldn't
case.
be what it was, and it is.
Yup. What words can you say? Like,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
just
the only
beyond.
thing that would be worse to realize is that you were the affair
baby of that. That's
the affair intermingling baby.
That's honestly the only.
That would be the only thing that would be worse.
All of those business trips I had mentioned in a comment, they weren't effing business trips. He'd go back to visit her. They would hook up even right before my mom's father passed away. He went to the hospital to be with my sister so he could support her, and she gave the baby up for adoption and claimed she didn't know who the father was, thinking my mom wouldn't question anything about his whereabouts since she was too worried about her sickly dad.
Oh my goodness. This secret could have gone on forever.
That's what he was busy doing. I'm disgusted right now and I want to vomit. I haven't even spoken to my cousin or aunt or anyone else, and quite frankly, I'm not sure I'd like to, knowing this information. I don't know if I
would. Disseminating this information has massive repercussions.
Massive.
And do we always need to know the truth?
That is the big question, I think, of this story. And I
would
don't
want to know
think
the
so.
truth, though.
Yeah.
At least, if I was a mom.
Who all is direct? Maybe it's like who all is directly involved and then who isn't directly involved. But regardless,
let us know in the comments who you would tell.
Yeah.
or who you wouldn't tell.
Yeah. I have already messaged A and I told her the truth because that's what she deserves. She's suffering physically from my dad and sister's terrible choice and probably emotionally and mentally too. Looking at her profile picture again, she and I look really similar. What do I even call her? My niece, my half sister, both? I don't even know what to think right now. Sometimes things are better left alone. I learned this the hard way.
23andMe. What have you done?
Just the absolute unthinkable. Yeah, but you know what? I think OP is keeping a pretty level head about this situation. I think the one person who definitely did deserve to know is A. I mean, that's even debatable, but
yeah,
I do think that OP has kind of like approached this like thoughtfully.
Would you want to know that you were an incest baby?
Yeah, so maybe honestly, I could just immediately possibly take that back.
I don't think I would want to know if I was an incest baby.
Yeah, it's hard to say, and you can't ask someone before. There's only telling them.
I don't think let us know in the comments.
Would you want to know? I mean,
know.
That's really the question. There's another update. I've reached out to my niece / half sister.
Oh, A.
I reached out to my niece / half sister, and the truth horrified her so much that she tried to unalive herself.
Oh,
awful! Which broke my heart into 1,000 pieces.
Okay, so I think you should not tell people that information.
Yeah, that's yes, that's probably correct. Yeah,
that's such a
it's so much to take
to know of your existence.
Yeah, a lot to take is the understatement of the century.
I wonder how many intermingling babies I've met in my life.
I don't want to know the answer to that, to be honest. This is a hard one. Very hard one. She was in a psychiatric facility for a while due to the attempt, but is now luckily out, and after several conversations with myself, her adoptive parents, and a therapist. She is still seeing a therapist to this day. Oh, that is great.
Good.
Her adoptive parents told me that she was diagnosed with schizophrenia, depression, and anxiety.
Oh.
She's now on medication for her mental illness and quite stable. She turned 19 back in February and is planning on returning.
She's 18.
Yeah. Very, very young to be processing this insane amount of information. She's planning on returning to school for the fall semester in hopes of becoming a pediatrician if she can with her mental illness. I have since forgiven my parents for hiding such a crucial thing from everyone, but I'm still not in contact with them. Holding a grudge takes far too much energy that I simply do not have.
I guess I don't especially
that's a hard one.
Especially the father.
It sounds like it, but it almost sounds like the forgiveness isn't really even I don't know if he said I forgive you.
It's more like
let me let this go out of my life. You know. Yeah. It's best for my sanity if we never speak again, however. What they did was awful, and I just can't condone it. My children are still upset because they do not get to see my parents, but I have told them that grown-ups sometimes get into fights and they need time apart, and they will see them again one day if they choose to do so. That's another hard thing. How can you explain that to your children? The reason why they can't see their grandparents.
God, this is...
I don't want to ruin their relationship with my parents. That is the best explanation I could come up with for them.
Okay, I would, if this happened in my family, I would never, ever, ever put my children next to my father again.
No, never.
Are you kidding me?
I don't think you owe him absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
That is terrible.
Yeah. Never again. Never. Without a question, instantaneously.
Yeah. And you have to no contact. And then at some point you probably do need to tell your kids if they ever want to establish a relationship.
Yeah. That's the next people where it's does it make sense to tell them or not?
Unfuckery you have to do to just move through this situation.
A unfathomable amount. I refuse to drag my children through all of this, but will tell them the truth later on when they're adults. So it seems OP has made that decision.
Yeah, makes sense.
A is close with my younger sister, and now we have developed a great relationship with each other. We video chat and text often, and A has met all of the kids.
At least A now has a support structure.
Yeah, I think that's
something good that's coming from
that's good. I introduced her to them as a cousin, which she is to them, as well as their half aunt. I was afraid that would trigger A again, though, so I left that part out, which Yes, that was good to leave out. They are too young to be able to comprehend the complexity of all it anyways, so cousin will work for the foreseeable future. My nieces and nephews and my own children have taken up to her and they love her dearly, even my autistic son. They have an unbreakable bond.
Wow.
And it didn't take them any time to warm up to her.
Wow.
So this was maybe the most mind effing thing we've ever seen on this.
But at least we ended on a happy note.
Yes. I think I feel like OP really put in the effort to do the absolute best that she could in this. And you know what? It's how hard is it to make the right decision at every juncture?
It's hard.
Through this
it's hard.
whole journey, right?
And, I think OP did that. But wow. I mean, we asked a bunch of questions there. I would love to know the audience's thought. What would you do if you found out this information? Do you keep it with you or do you tell everyone?
And each person is kind of vastly different.
Yeah.
Vastly
and you have to
different.
think about, how do you talk to your kids about this? How do you talk to your parents about this? How do you talk to your sister, cousin about this? I don't even know. But
it's so hard to wrap your brain around.
This is why things like 23andMe, or Ancestry.com, it opens up a Pandora's box that you cannot close. So you got to be ready to look inside.
You have to be. You absolutely have to be.
But we should also get ready to look inside into this next story because it gets crazier from here.
Oof.
But if you have a crazy story of your own, you should call us and just tell it to us. We have a call-in line. It's 440-508-6567. Call us right now if you have a crazy story, and let's get into the next one.
Let's do it.
DNA test says I'm related to my wife.
That's never a good thing, Sam.
Hey, maybe you got so much chemistry because you got so much in common. I decided to get tested to see if I could donate my kidney to my wife of 6 years. We have 2 kids together, 4 female, 2 male. And my wife got sick just after our son was born and is now in need of a kidney transplant. We checked with her relatives and none were a match or a viable donor. Last week, I got tested. I knew it would be a long shot, so I decided to get tested to see if I could donate. I got a call the other day saying that I was a match. Amazing. Wife's going to get a kidney.
Out here.
Yeah, great.
Wait, what kind of match?
What kind of match? Well, I got a call the other day saying I was a match. The doctor then said something about wanting to do additional testing due to some information from the HLA tissue test results. I didn't think much of it and agreed. Then the results came in.
What was it?
I was shocked and confused.
Oh no.
He explained that because of how DNA information is passed down through generations, a parent to a child could have at least a 50% match.
Okay.
Siblings could have a 0 to 100% match. It was rare to have a high match as husband and a wife. I asked, what do you mean? He said that my wife and I have an abnormally high match percentage.
Oh.
Abnormally high.
I don't like that. Can it be abnormally low?
Long story short.
Okay.
We're related. No, I'm not kidding. I was put up for adoption before I was born, placed into a family that moved across the country. I knew I was adopted, but we didn't have any information about my biological family. It was a closed adoption, which basically means you don't get any of the informational papers.
Right.
I met my wife by chance 8 years ago. I was on a trip from work and she was working at the site I went to. We worked together for a week. We exchanged numbers, kept in touch. I was sent back there 3 more times that year, and each time we became closer.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't get too close. I was given the opportunity to be transferred out there into a higher paying position in a different department as hers, and the rest is history. I don't know what to do moving forward, but I know it may be wrong. She is my wife and the mother of our kids.
Oh, there it is.
This post is probably going to get removed, but it is all true. And there is a juicy update.
Oh, I don't think I'm ready, Sam, but let's do it to me anyways.
Into it. But okay, so there is a little edit just for more clarification.
Okay.
So all of my family is from my adopted parents. My parents adopted me 2 minutes after I was born.
Whoa.
Their name is on my birth certificate. They have not told me anything about my bio parents and don't have any info. Her family is not a match as stated above. Most of her family has low match potential or can't donate due to medical or other reasons. I am 2 years older than my wife. I do know that my wife was born when her parents were late teens. So here is the update 2 weeks later.
Oh boy.
Yes, I know I misspelled across. Yes, I do have bad grammar and spelling. Yes, I am stressed and freaking out. And yes, I play the banjo.
Understandable.
No, there was no genetic test when we got married. Although actually I heard in Iceland, the chances of you being related to someone you meet is very high. So they have a genetic matchmaker to make sure you can search the database and make sure you guys are not like cousins.
At this point, is it that bad of an idea? We have to ask ourselves.
This has happened so many times.
We have to ask ourselves. Maybe.
John and I better go search up.
Uh-oh. Brothers? Lovers?
Our state stopped that in the 1990s. Oh, I guess it was something you have to do.
Oh.
No, my wife has never been stuck in the dryer.
I'm stuck.
But she did get stuck under the bed.
Oh boy.
The joke. Anyway, the reason I did not go into too much detail is to try to not be specific that I or my wife might be recognized. Well, the front page of Reddit didn't help with that.
Ooh.
Thank you for all your comments. Anyway, the reason her family couldn't donate was the close relatives had some medical issues that prevent them from donating: high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, heavy drinkers, and more. The further out we tested, the less % of a match. I wanted to be tested because we needed to find something. The doctor said it would be unlikely, but wouldn't hurt to try. I was freaking out after I got the news and had to get outside advice. When the doc said that the percentage was abnormally high and that we might be related, I kind of zoned out and started to piece things together in my mind. My parents live 1,000 miles away. They met my in-laws a few times, once at my wedding and when both my children were born. My children are fine. My daughter is incredibly smart for her age. My son is a handful and healthy.
Dang.
The way my adoption worked was when my bio mom gave birth to me, I was checked out and put in a different room. I was there, but don't know how it officially worked. From what my parents explained, they were in that room waiting. They never met my bio mom in person. My bio mom only had a profile and picked them out of many candidates. I called my parents and told them that I needed to know everything they knew about my bio mom.
Yep.
They told me that they had limited knowledge. They said she was a single mom that was 16 years old. The father was not in the picture. Also, I was born in a hospital 1 hour from where my wife was born. Like I said, limited knowledge.
Oof.
Growing up, I didn't want to find out about my bio parents. To me, my parents were always my parents, the ones that raised them.
Totally.
I knew I was adopted and that it was a closed adoption. I figure it wouldn't matter long term. Oh boy, were you wrong.
Oh, it kind of mattered a little bit, OP.
I'm not going to do an additional at-home DNA test through any of the traditional testing sites like 23 or Ancestry due to personal reasons, like the possibility of the family finding out.
Oh, and just the other myriad of Pandora's box things that can happen.
The doc said all of this to only me, not with my wife present. Some of the additional tests were done through the doctor, which was the CM test, ? I'm not an expert on DNA testing. They said it was like a 1900 plus CM match. This basically confirms one of my bio parents is one of hers. It can also mean first cousins or aunt, uncle. I'm guessing her dad.
That's tough.
When my kids were born, my parents brought photos of me as a baby and commented that I and my son looked a lot like my wife's dad. My son was easily explainable, but all three of us are a different story.
A little bit different.
I'm not going to bring this up ever. I might look at my father-in-law differently, but nothing will hopefully change. I hope none of the family goes on Reddit and connects the dots. I am donating my kidney to my wife. We have started the full process that takes time and a lot of preparation. Also, this would be really easy to figure out if someone was reading this, because how often is someone donating a kidney from husband to wife in the last couple months?
Not much.
Not often.
I mean, maybe more than we would think.
But they said husband to wife is very rare. Usually it's like daughter to kid, brother to brother, sister to brother, sister to sister, any of those. I plan on talking to my wife after the surgery and after the recovery. We will decide what to do with our kids. Oh, if we are going to get them tested or ever tell them. I mean, I thought we're going to leave them.
Not quite that far.
I will not be leaving my wife. I love and will always be there for her. I made vows and I will keep them. I love her more than I would a half sister.
God. He said it. He said it.
And there is an update.
Oh boy.
Okay. First, my wife and I did go through with the transplant. We both are recovering / have recovered well now. My wife is the healthiest she has been since just after our son was born. My profile has all the other posts, but since I posted this to my profile, you are most likely up to date. So I kept to my original plan. I did not tell my wife about the possibility of us being related.
I did not.
Until after the surgery.
Ooh,
Before the surgery, my parents came into town as soon as they could. It really helps having a big family support system like we have. The days leading up to the surgery seemed like there just wasn't enough time in the day for everything. With 900 doctor's appointments, getting things prepared for worst case scenarios, researching, setting up my parents and other family in our house to watch our kids, and just spending time together as family. There's, not a lot of time.
Nope.
The doctors were fantastic and laid everything out in a professional but relatable fashion. They answered all the questions and concerns we had leading up to, during, and post-op. And there were a ton of questions. It was one of the best feelings seeing my wife hopeful for the first time in a long time. I knew I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I took that away from her. In the days leading up, I decided I was going to write a letter to my wife if things went bad for me, but she survived. I wrote her 6 pages. I have small handwriting. And in it, I told her how much I loved her, how much she changed me from the moment we met, how she was my universe, but also how sorry I was for keeping a secret from her and lying to her. I went into details of what I found out over last week, how we might be related and all the evidence. I gave it to my parents to give to her if something were to happen to me because of the kidney transplant.
Right. That makes sense.
But if we both didn't make it, then to read it with my in-laws, I also made other letters. The surgery went well for both of us. They said my organs looked mighty fine.
Hey.
The transplant worked out rather quickly for my wife and her body accepted it. I ended up scratching my eye pretty bad and they put an eye patch on me.
Oh, man.
Random. So when I saw my wife for the first time, her first words to me were, "The doctors knew we were here for a kidney, right?"
Oh, wife,
Zingers.
sister.
Oh, God. Recovery overall sucks. There was virtually no position that was comfortable. I felt like a baby because my wife never complained and was healing well and taking it easy. Me, on the other hand, am not so smart and decided I should go against doctor's orders and did not take it easy and ended up having to go to the ER and have a secondary surgery to repair damages I caused.
Oh.
Please listen to medical professionals. And here is the juicy update where he reveals everything to the wife.
Go.
Now on to what y'all really care about. During recovery, my wife got into TikTok / Reddit. Yikes. Well, after a time, she found out a little post that made it way bigger than I ever intended. Looking back, I should have been more careful.
Whoa.
Ooh. During this time, she started to ask more in-depth questions about my adoption. My parents were still at the house at this point. Parents answered all the questions. My wife used the excuse of wanting to put a memory book together for her kids and wanted to include a family history of us growing up and including our parents who raised us. She knew most of this info but wanted more details. She asked her dad about more details of his childhood, how he met my mother-in-law, if my mother-in-law was his first relationship, etc. She knew some, but I was learning a lot. Also, reminder, my wife was born when her parents were older teens. I'm older than her. He said no mother-in-law was not his first relationship. We ended up pulling out his old yearbook of his high school and he showed us the girl who was his first relationship. I knew she was probably my biological mom.
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
biological mom just revealed. I could see features that I have in her. He told us fond memories he had of her. He said the relationship ended because of her parents and he never saw her again. He tried finding out what happened to her but couldn't before the internet. Shortly after that, he asked out my mother-in-law, and here we are. We got my father-in-law's side, then my mother-in-law said, "Now let me tell you how it really happened." Oh. So mother-in-law has another side.
Little different.
She proceeded to tell us a different story that was way more believable. Nothing about all of this was a red flag indicating that my wife knew my secret. But after that visit, I felt extremely guilty. She was healthier than she had been in years, out of the major danger zone. So I had no real excuse not to tell her. It took me 2 additional weeks to finally tell her, and she noticed I was acting off and finally asked me if I was okay.
In fairness, it's a hard thing to share.
A hard thing to share. I said I needed to talk to her about something serious, possibly life-altering, and potentially a relationship-ending topic, but that I love her and will do absolutely everything she decided from that point forward. She told me that was not a good start to a conversation and asked if I wanted to start again.
Oh, wow.
So I gave her the letter I had written before the surgery. She went from curious, happy crying to intense concentration, unreadable. In my head, I basically handed her divorce papers and I would never see her or my kids again. Our life that we have built got nuked. I'm dramatic in my head. When I get nervous, I pace back and forth. When she finished reading it, she took a moment, then came over to me, stopped me from pacing, said to look at her, smile with genuine smile, and said, "You are the dumbest smart person I know," and then kissed me. This started a long conversation. She came across my first post after the surgery and found it oddly specific to her situation. Even though I changed some facts and circumstances, she connected the dots. This started her trying to find out if it was true, if I would eventually tell her or continue to lie/hide it from her. She reassured me that it changed nothing in a relationship. She is my wife. I am her husband. She will always have a piece of me with her at all times. Like, DNA wise. She said that she doesn't view it as wrong because we did not grow up together. We didn't know, and it was a bit too late to go back now. We decided to have our kids do genetic testing when the age was more appropriate. Mainly for the unknown from me being adopted.
Right.
We are not, for now, possibly ever, telling anyone, which probably is a good look.
Yeah.
We also looked up who we now suspect is my bio mom. What we found was that she ended up passing away a few years ago due to a drunk driver, but I possibly have 2 other half sisters.
Whoa.
So I have dating options down the road if needed.
I see you.
My wife hit me when I told her this. Kids are doing really well. All they know is that mommy's doing better and enjoying spending more time with her and the extra energy/playfulness that she hasn't had in a while. They are doing really well. So all in all, the best case scenario happened. The only things I would change is if the doctors tell you to take it easy and give you proper medical advice, follow it. Also, if you were keeping a secret from your significant other/wife, don't. They probably know already and are just letting you keep digging the hole a little deeper. My wife and I are doing really well. We probably are the closest we have ever been in a long time. I asked her to marry me again. She said she would think about it, paused for like 5 long seconds, and of course said, "Yes, I will marry you." I'm not as afraid as I was about family finding or seeing this post. I now have a goddess-like force to have my back if I/we ever get questioned. We have made contingency plans. Like I said, I probably won't update again. I thank you all.
Wow.
And that is a wrap of that story.
And that is why DNA tests are a Pandora's box.
Pandora's box. They're like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
You really freaking
You
don't.
really don't.
You really don't.
But you know what you should freaking get next, John?
What should I get next?
This next juicy, crazy, even crazier story.
All right, let's get into it. I am pregnant, a virgin, and 16, so my boyfriend thinks I cheated.
Fucking immaculate conception. We got Mother Mary over here.
Maybe this baby is gonna save us all. So yeah, pretty much exactly what the title says. I am 16 female, a virgin, so is my boyfriend 16 male. Said the 2 guys who, are still virgins.
They're still virgins.
We're both young and neither of us were ready for sex. Personally, it's never been high on my radar. And from what he's told me, he's the same way.
Tell me a 16-year-old boy doesn't have sex high on his radar.
Sweetheart. Your boyfriend is lying. I am so sorry. That being said, we've been together for a couple of years now, so things have still happened. I'd rather not go into detail on that, but you can get the picture. Think third base.
No, we will not get the picture. Illegal. No pictures.
Nice try.
Nice try. Fucking Chris
Look at the
Hansen.
sign.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
A couple of days ago, I went to the doctor because I've been feeling really sick lately. I did a urine test and a finger prick, and my doctor told me
Oh, geez.
that I was pregnant. Of course, I laughed it off at first because I thought she was joking, but no, I am really pregnant.
Damn,
That
bro.
would, just imagine for 5 seconds being in that scenario, literally done nothing in your whole life, and you go to the doctor and they're like, yeah, you have a baby.
Dude, I would even come close to having sex ever again.
You wouldn't come close. It would be nowhere.
There would be nowhere.
After that, I fell kind of silent. She started talking about things like ultrasounds, prenatal vitamins, etc. But I cut her off and told her that wasn't possible because I've never had sex. therefore have never conceived. She explained to me that very, very few women can get pregnant by outer course.
Oh, like rubbing up against the things. And
could you Google that for us, Riley?
it's like, oh, right in the belly button, and then it drips down.
I would guess
and
it's
then-
like just like anything that's not actual true, like it's not truly in there.
Yeah.
But the doctor said it's still possible due to the anatomy or something like that. I was and still am in complete and utter shock.
That sucks, dude.
So I kind of just left without any further explanation. Oh, what can...
Dude, that's why sex ed is important.
I mean, honestly,
They told me the only safe sex is no sex.
No, Sam, you have to exist in a box. I went straight to my boyfriend's house and he was the first person I told. I hadn't even texted or called in advance because I was crying completely distraught. I don't know why, but it didn't even cross my mind that he would think that I cheated, which I mean,
Ooh.
yeah.
To be fair, if you're like a 16-year-old boy who also doesn't know anything about sex, it's just like, wait, we didn't have sex.
So
You must have cheated.
What's the deal?
What's
Yeah.
the deal?
I
What's the deal?
I would never do something like that. I explained everything to him about how we'd technically never done it, but we got really close and stuff can happen. He seemed pretty lost until I told him eventually I was pregnant.
Damn, bro. My girlfriend said she was pregnant at 16. Wow.
Are you so young that you're like too naive to even
understand?
comprehend?
Probably. Like, dude, if you had a kid at 16, that kid would be 20 now.
Bruh, I am quitting this podcast.
I don't know if you-
11. That's how old my kid would be. He'd be in freaking Little League, not in college. Which is when he, rightfully, got pissed at me because how the F does that even happen without us having had sex? I tried so hard to explain myself and assure him that I'd never do that ever. I told him I'd take a DNA test or something to prove that, but he didn't believe a word and made me go home. The last thing he told me was, I really trusted you.
Oh.
So many like insane life moments are happening to OP at such a young age so fast.
I know. And like, I don't necessarily fault the kid.
Yeah.
Because he's like, what else would you believe?
I feel like any 16-year-old, most 16-year-old guys would probably have
Yeah.
that same sentiment,
Yeah.
you know? So, God, this is a terrible situation. He looked at me like he was about to cry. Now I'm blocked on everything, so I can't text or call explaining myself. I'll respect his decision if he wants to break up, but I need him to know I was never with anyone else. It's been killing me knowing how hurt he must feel.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so rough.
They're like literally everyone loses. You just can't win in this scenario.
He just needs to do the paternity test to regain
To
that
at least
trust.
that's true. That would at least let the boyfriend know, like, oh, what OP's saying is actually true.
Yeah,
So that is
exactly.
one potential saving grace in this situation. Luckily, he hasn't told anyone that I'm pregnant because I haven't even told my own parents yet. But he has told people that I cheated on him, and now I'm losing friends and everything's gone to crap. This was already the worst, lowest point of my life, and it seems to only be getting worse. I've basically locked myself in my room. I feel so depressed. I just need him to know. There is an update.
So tough. They're both so young.
So
it's
young.
But I think like if there was one piece of advice, it's just like see if you can convince him to get a paternity test. And maybe it's just like he's so shocked from this initial thing that he'll like come to his senses in a little bit and needs time to think. But it's a lot of information to deal with.
Yeah, it's again, everyone's losing in this scenario. On to the first update. Things have been moving wildly slow, and I didn't want to create a whole post for each small thing I had. So much has happened. First off, I just want to specify a couple of things, misconceptions, as well as some key aspects I didn't do a good job enough explaining. No, my boyfriend didn't yell at me or call me names. He was angry, you could tell, but it was an extremely short conversation, and he was primarily silent. That's the type of person he is. Though we've had very few arguments, he usually goes quiet when he's mad. I'm not saying it was the right way to act at all, but it was understandable in my opinion, as the possibility of this happening was entirely new and confusing to both of us.
That makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, yeah. He also never spread rumors about me, as some other people were saying. I want to make that clear. He told his best friend, who told another one of their close friends, and you know how that worked. Classic high school.
No one can keep their freaking mouth shut.
You basically can't tell anyone anything.
No,
That is
no.
the rule of high school. Toxic gossip train. A few of our mutual friends who are generally closer to him / knew him first stopped talking to me.
Oh, that sucks.
He came to my house the morning after I made the post and apologized, explaining that he
Really? Okay.
That is actually pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Explaining that he'd done a lot of research and felt bad for accusing me. So maybe he's like coming to the understanding that OP has on his own.
And they're both educating themselves about sexual reproduction.
Maybe a little too late.
Well, a little late.
Maybe a little bit.
But better late than never, you know?
That is true. He said he still didn't know if he fully trusted me, but wanted to at least help me while I went through this because, if anything, we've been best friends since we were small. That's very solid
That's
of
cute.
him,
That's
especially
cute.
like
Yeah, solid-
16-year-old
solid
boy.
decision.
That's pretty dang mature.
Yeah, it's pretty mature.
Yeah. He came over and we told my parents together, explaining that I didn't know if it was a pregnancy or illness and I needed to get further testing done. They seemed disappointed that I hadn't told them that I was sexually active, but my mom said she was more disappointed in herself for not teaching me about reproductive health. Pretty good response.
Yeah.
From parents, I'd say. That being said, they're supportive as they can be. So that all happened. Flash forward to the next day, Monday. I went to the doctor to get more blood testing done. I wanted to update then, but I had to wait until I got the results back today. So far, after a full blood panel, all signs are still pointing to me being pregnant.
Wow.
The comments kind of got my hopes up, thinking it was likely something else. My doctor explained that there was actually a slightly higher chance of me being pregnant than there was of a false positive because it's generally men with cancer who receive those.
Oh.
I don't know if he's going off of statistics or personal experience, though. I'm not sure since there's still not a positive way to know if it's really a pregnancy. So I have an ultrasound scheduled for this Thursday, as that would be the earliest appointment available. That will be the only way to properly confirm. If the ultrasound confirms that I'm pregnant, then I'm also going to ask about getting DNA testing as a form of paternity test. Another update. There's not much to say. I got an ultrasound and yes, I confirmed the pregnancy.
Wow.
It's true.
You know, she's probably hoping but
That's tough. I was still holding on to a bit of hope that it might be something else. Lol. My doctor gave me a referral to go straight to a blood work lab. I have no idea what they're actually called. So me and my boyfriend could do a prenatal paternity test. I'd never gotten a referral that quickly. Usually you have to wait at least a day, but she sent me over for an appointment just an hour after the ultrasound, which was really great. We did the blood test, saliva swab, and now we have to just wait about a week for the results. Most likely going to terminate the pregnancy, but still figuring out the safest way to do that out of state. So maybe
'cause they're
OP's in
probably
one
in
of
a
the states.
state, yeah.
Oh, please let OP catch one break.
Dude, she can't. That's so rough.
At least if you actually do it, you're like, all right.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I know, you do it, you don't use protection. Okay, I know what I did, but she
Didn't even know.
didn't. My goodness. On to the final update. The paternity test just came back. And yes, like I kept saying, the baby is his. I'm very grateful that nothing happened to me in my sleep, as some people might have suggested. Oh my God, that would be awful. We had found a great program that several of you had
What do you
recommended.
mean something happened to me in my sleep?
Like if she was assaulted or something.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. We found a great program that several of you had recommended to me called Plan C. They help provide women in no abortion states with pills. It was very mentally difficult for me to go through with, but this morning the pills came and we used a telehealth doctor to help. I now officially have had an abortion. Woohoo.
Wow.
Oh man. I was very on the fence about it. And honestly, I am not doing too well right now, but I know it was the right choice. Yeah. I mean,
You're 16.
already such a hard decision.
Yeah.
And now you're 16 and the circumstances that it happened in. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine. Now to answer some questions. No, I'm not a bot. I'm also not old. I write well because I want to be an author. Writing has interested me since I was in elementary school, and it's something I work very hard at. I took AP Lang last year and taking AP Lit this coming year, so I'm very well educated in that subject. And obviously not so well educated on LOL.
Nice.
I think some of you are wildly underestimating how articulate teens can be. We're not entirely clueless. Also, I got the paternity test because I could. Some people said it was strange to get one, even though I was most likely going to terminate the pregnancy, but I don't think so.
No, because she wanted to prove to her boyfriend that she was faithful.
She wasn't cheating. Yeah, and that what she said happened. 100%. Personally, I believe it was necessary. And honestly, it wasn't as expensive as I thought it would be. My parents covered it. And no, my boyfriend's parents never found out about any of this.
Whoa.
Wow. And we don't ever want them to. I'm surprised that OP's parents weren't like, hey, I think we need to tell your parents about this, right?
OP's parents.
Because they knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
Yeah, but it could be like they could be worried if they're in a state where you can't get an abortion.
That like, maybe who knows what the parents' reaction would be.
Yeah, exactly. They might be like, no, you're not not allowed.
They're not very good / stable people. And my boyfriend plans on going no contact pretty much as soon as he turns 18.
Yeah.
So there you go. Also, we're both 17 now. So there you go.
There we go. One more year to learn about sex ed, I hope.
And then another one, and another one. Anyways, thank you for all the support on this journey. It's been rough, but no, this all helped so much.
Whew. Well, I'm glad we got to the end.
Yes, it seems to be probably as happy an ending as one could maybe hope for. Not as disastrous, I guess.
No,
as it could have
I
been.
think it turned. I think like. I felt like everyone made solid decisions after a bad decision.
Yes, 100%. Which I mean,
not even a bad decision. Just an uninformed, crazy happenstance.
God.
But OP, I'm glad you're okay.
So glad you're okay. I wonder if the relationship's gonna work out. That's
I wonder if they got to fourth base.
Honestly, at that point, they're just like, you know what?
You can't get pregnant twice, right?
Right? That's how that works. Oh.
But wait, I actually have a question for the audience.
Oh.
Do you have any stories? Because there's a place where you can submit those. And I saw in the comments, people were like, why does John only know the number? Do you not know the number? And the answer is, I do know the number now. I memorized it. I don't even have to look at what Riley's putting up. It is 440-508-6567. If you want to submit your story, submit it to us. Leave a voicemail. We'd love to hear it.
There it is. But Sam.
What?
We have the results that have just come in.
Oh, what are the results?
Another DNA test story.
Let's get it. I cheated on my wife with her sister. Just something I got to get off my chest.
You know, that's a pretty big thing to get off your chest and onto your
wife's
sister's
chest. Your wife's sister's chest. I know this title sounds bad, but I need to get this off my chest. Me, 35 male, and my wife, 34 female, were childhood sweethearts. We did everything together, and she was the love of my life. I proposed to her when I was 20. I thought it was the right time, so did she. When I was 26 and she was 25, we had our daughter. We were so happy. She was the one thing our life was missing. We were such a happy family. Then, a few months after the birth of our first child, she gave birth to our son. Again, we were so happy. Now we had a little family of 4. Before anyone asks why we had kids so young, after high school, I got my degree in accounting. Then I went to work for my dad. My dad's company is big. I was able to make a lot of money. And yes, when we got married, we agreed to sign a pre-marital agreement. So this is a prenup.
Foreshadowing?
Yeah, I guess to protect daddy's money. We went on dates very often, and our bedroom life was amazing.
Yeah.
I showered her and her kids with gifts and flowers 3 times a week. Damn. We had a big house. I was able to give her her dream life, the one we would always talk about when we were teens.
Sweet.
I thought we were happy. Yet she cheated on me.
Oh.
I found out she had a hookup app. When I confronted her about it, she didn't deny it. She said I was always absent and she didn't have a way to be fulfilled. How about the flowers 3 times a week?
Man.
How about the craziness in the bedroom?
Maybe OP thought it was going all great, but then he's like, another great one tonight, hey, honey?
Yeah, 30 seconds is enough for you, babe, right?
Sure, Bob.
Sure, Bob. Let me just go on my phone really quick. Oh, I gotta leave. I wanted to leave, but didn't for the kids, even though my pain was too much to even look at her. We went to counseling and we did okay for a while. But one day, maybe 2 months later, she said she was hooking up with guys every night.
Oh my.
She even had a few guys over at the house and in our bed, and the house I paid for.
Oh.
My kids were now at this point 8 and 7. We knew divorce would be very hard on them since they loved us both so much. I didn't want them to have a tainted image of her. Through my grief and pain, I stayed, but I moved her into the guest bedroom. And I couldn't sleep through all the love making that I heard through the walls.
Please.
No.
Please. I was like, no.
You're probably wondering where her sister, 30 Female, comes in. Well, throughout all this, she was my rock. My family wouldn't have understood my pain. My wife's family always favored her because her sister was the mistake baby. Yikes.
Oh.
I still loved her, but I didn't know she made her sister's life hell. My wife was barely home when she moved into the guest room. Damn.
Yeah, she wasn't.
Now our kids barely saw their mom. Whenever they spoke to her, she was either rude, cold, or ignored them. When she came home, she would get something to eat, drink, and go to her room and stay there. Dude, it doesn't sound like she's even sorry.
No, and like, is this really better for the kids?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so, man.
I feel like a divorce, especially if they have a prenup, like makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with the kids, it obviously like makes it messy that you have to figure out custody, but it seems like the mom doesn't even care about the kids.
Yeah. It seems like she just wants to live her life and do her
Yeah,
thing.
I would get a divorce.
Oh.
So my sister's wife was there for our kid. She would be at the house a lot. She picked up the kids and did things with them. She was also home when my wife was home, but my wife didn't care. After 2 years of this, so 2 years of the sister coming and helping out with the kids.
Yeah.
My kids started to call her mom.
Wait. What?
Like the kids are seeing so much of the sister that they just think that's mom instead of their mom. She didn't want them to if they didn't want to, but they wanted to, which made me happy. They had only spoken a handful of times to their mom. By now they were used to it, and so was I.
A handful?
A handful, dude.
God.
Me and my wife's sisters would spend a lot of time together, and I loved it. So did she. Now, this leads me to the current situation. So I had booked a trip to Fiji for me, my wife, and the kids. Why are you still going on trips with this woman, dude?
Maybe it was before.
Maybe. But no, it's been 2 years.
It's
It's been 2 years. My wife's sister wanted us to try and fix things, which I tried to do for the first year, but I stopped trying since she wasn't. So I went to my wife and told her about it. She just yelled at me and told me to F off and that she wasn't coming. And I kid you not, referred to her own kids as those little shits.
Oh,
This is terrible.
bruh.
This sounds like she knew about our kids calling their auntie mom. If she did know, she would have thrown a fit. She said they weren't hers anymore and it was a mistake to even have them. This threw me off, but I did not persist. Crazy. So I asked my wife's sister and told her what happened. She said yes, and we arrived last week. So it's now the sister, OP, and the kids in Fiji. I've been to Fiji, and let me tell you, it's great. It's been amazing. Me, my wife's sister, and my kids have had a blast. They love her, and this makes me so happy knowing they have a mother figure throughout all the drama of the past 3 years. So this leads me up to tonight.
Oh.
My kids met another family with kids, so they spent the night, which left me and my wife's sister alone.
Oh.
We talked about the kids and life in general with the mood and atmosphere. You could both tell something is going on between us. And I kissed her.
Oh.
She stopped me asking if I really want to do this. Do you want to do this? I told her I did. Oh, and I feel like we could both feel it.
Ooh.
We didn't share a room. My kids shared a bed and I had one next to them. My wife's sister had the master bedroom. So we ended up sleeping together.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I know it's bad, but nothing had happened like this before. The setting really set us up. It's not me or her, it's Fiji, bro.
It's so beautiful, babe.
So right now, I'm lying in bed next to her, typing this out, about to text my lawyer. She's still sleeping. I just needed to get this out. I know not many people will read this. But it would be good to know if one person does. Thanks. And there is another juicy update. But John, what do you think so far? Like, what should OP do? Divorce, stay with his wife, tell his wife, tell the family, tell the kids. What do you think?
I'm curious to hear what everyone thinks OP should do, but yeah, I definitely think divorce. I mean, the current wife just seems so disinterested and doesn't care at all.
Yeah, what
like
a sack of poop.
Yeah, so sad and awful of her.
Yeah.
And it gets dicey though with the sister. That is definitely like a less clear-cut situation. I think that OP needs to sit down with the sister and they need to like talk about the complications of maybe what could happen. I mean, it seems like this is like burgeoning and blossoming into the possibility of a relationship. So just having that starting conversation, I feel like at a bare minimum, right?
I think it should. I feel like the order should go divorce.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm in love with your sister. Hey kids, you have a new mom.
Yeah. Kids probably very last. And yeah, so he hasn't officially gone through with divorce until now.
He's texting his lawyer as he's sleeping in bed with his wife's hot sister.
Right. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, but let's get into this update.
Let's do it.
So I deleted my original account because I realized how wrong I am for not divorcing my wife. I don't know who's going to see this, but it's worth a shot, I guess. So I'll clear up a lot of confusion. Yes, I let my kids stay with a family they just met because, like I said, there were other kids, not just mine, in the family. I guess I didn't look into that, but that's kind of weird that you just dropped your kids off with a family you just met. Yes, my wife stayed with us, but because she didn't really have anywhere else to go when she cheated. And what I meant by my kids being born a month apart, I mean to say my other kid was conceived a few months after my daughter. Sorry for the confusion. So because of my infidelity and hers as well, I am entitled to give her a sum of my money, which I don't give two flying F's about because I'm very well off. All right, OP.
Wow.
Unlike her, because she doesn't really work. If there's any more confusion, I'll clear it up. So I got home this morning. Right now, it's in the afternoon, and we went straight back to my house. Well, when we walked in, my wife was waiting on the couch and she was very upset. She asked why the F I brought her sister to the trip because I could have just discarded her ticket. Well, no, I couldn't have. They cost a effing fortune. And even though I'm well off, I teach my kids the value of money. And I thought she knew that too. I thought wrong, obviously. Well, I told her this and I asked if she could calm down so we could talk. She wouldn't calm down unless her sister was gone. So I told them to wait in the car. So I sat down with her and asked her if she had guys over when we were gone. Of course she did.
Oh,
yikes.
God.
At this moment, what a few of you said about my kids maybe not being mine sprung into my head.
Oh.
So I asked her. She said that she had slept with one guy a little bit before my daughter was born. My stomach dropped. She said she didn't think it was his because of how much my daughter looked like me. Also said the guy she slept with kind of looked like me. So I'm planning to get DNA tests done on both my kids.
Why didn't you just stick with he looked just like you? Why not just stick with the original?
Oh my God. Imagine if all the guys she's bringing home are just like different variations of
Clones
looking
of
like
OP.
I told her after that I want a divorce. And to my surprise, she got upset. Not the kind of upset when you get up and start crying, the kind when she lowered her head in disappointment. I saw in her eyes she realized what she had done. Just now?
Yeah.
Just now?
Yes, you did this. Hello.
How badly she screwed up her relationship with me and her kids, not to forget her sister as well. She said she was so sorry for how she treated me and hopes we can work through it. What? No way, bro.
You lost your chance,
No
buddy.
way.
No.
I thought about it because I saw the girl I fell in love with again. The girl whose laugh brought me happiness. The girl who knew how to make me smile. The girl who fucking cheated on you a billion times and calls your kids shit.
This is divorce. That's right.
Don't lose the fucking plot, my guy. But then I remembered what she put me through and the kids through. There we go.
There we go.
So I stood up, told her there's no way in hell she's getting another chance. And if she really wants to see the kids, she can, but on their terms. I told her my lawyer would be in touch and I would be open to renting her a temporary room until the divorce is done. She said she would like that. I let her grab a few of her things and watched her to make sure she didn't take anything of mine. I called her an Uber for wherever she wanted to go in the meantime. I also told her I'd let her know where she'd be staying. She left rather peacefully, but kept her head down on the way to the car. My kids came out and asked me what happened. I told them, Mummy's not staying with us anymore, but if they want, she can come and visit whenever they want to see her. I told them to go upstairs and unpack. So this gave me time alone with their aunt,
Oh,
the wife's sister. We sat down and basically talked about everything. What happened on the trip and what will happen now. We agreed to try and start dating.
Wow.
But after my divorce is finalized, which is best for the kids to cool down.
Smart.
They will see their aunt whenever they want, but she is not going to live with us. Also, she isn't married. I wouldn't be doing this with a married woman. So yeah, that leads to now. We just finished a paternity test at the clinic. I'm so nervous to find out the results. I'll update when I get them. Thanks. Second update is 2 days later. This is the last and final update.
Heart is pumping.
But basically, we're going to find out whether these kids are actually his.
Oh, please, God.
If he finds that they aren't, does that change anything?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's the kind of guy that would be like, hey, these are kids that I've been raising and that I love and that I want to care for. Like him talking about like the money and how he says, like, I feel like he's a good parent.
I think so. I
want to continue parenting.
Well, let's see. I got the paternity results back and both kids are mine.
Oh, thank God.
I'm over the moon that these kids I love so much are 100% my blood. My kids and I have all started counseling with 2 sessions a week. Their first session was after school and it already seems to be helping. Now on to topics that I think everyone wants to know about. My ex-wife and ex-sister-in-law. I'll start with my ex. I got her a studio room last night. I don't know what she does during the day and I don't care. We have only had a little conversation. I'll post if Reddit allows me to, since I am allowed to, I guess, with the divorce proceedings or whatever.
Right.
The gist was about our kids and divorce. She has signed the papers my lawyer sent her. She told me she will fight me if I want to keep her kids away from her. She has been harassing me, my mom, dad, siblings, and their children when I ended our conversation. I have proof, like a few of you suggested. With how everything is going at the moment, looks like I'll be getting full custody of the kids. To the person who messaged me about my ex maybe having a mental health issue, there's none I'm aware of, but she may need to get a test done due to the way she's been acting. My kids don't want to see her right now, and I don't blame them. I will try to get a protective order in place before the court date, which will be decided on in the next few weeks, but the actual date will most likely be in a few months. I've taken all the money out of her joint account and have sent her some to live off of and enough to hire a lawyer. Now, on to my ex-sister-in-law.
Wow. Good guy.
So we've talked once. That was before I wrote this. My kids really want to see her, so we have planned a day for them to hang out with her Friday after school. I read all the comments about not getting into a relationship with her. I did say I wanted time to see what I want to do, but again, we spent the night together and I don't want her to feel used, so I told her my feelings and she was extremely supportive and understood. She told me how she feels happy and I am happy she doesn't feel used. We will not be hanging out, but I will see her if I come to collect my kids and she's there, which is fine. She's a great influence on them and she is helping them through their mom and I's divorce. So I guess they aren't kind of in a relationship right now.
Right, yeah.
Right now, I'm sitting outside on the deck. We ordered their favorite takeout and I'm watching them goof around. It's great to see them so happy. I don't know when my next update will be, but I will as soon as I can. So everything's going decently well.
Going decently
well. A little
well.
bit more drama. The drama rating is hiring on each of these stories.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
Dang, I kind of wish like the relationship with this ex-sister-in-law continued. Like, I don't know why he ended that.
I mean, is it officially over or are they in kind of a cool off
limbo
period?
I think it seems like they're in a cool off period, but like, what if it cools all the way off?
It could cool all the
I
way
don't want
off.
it to cool all the way off.
Which, like, it's so sad because it's like, hey, the kids already like
See
literally
her as
already
a mother. They literally call her mom.
Like, and I want OP to have someone that's great in his life, but maybe it's not the worst thing in the world for OP to have time with himself, time with his kids, and kind of just like learn and grow in that first.
That's true.
So,
but yeah, freaking rough for OP.
I guess
not what you want.
One question is, would you go back and try to have a relationship with the sister?
I would for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm curious what everyone in the comments thinks.
Yeah, put your answers in the comments. But what we got to do, test the waters of this next story.
Oh, really?
Let's get into it.
Boom.